Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Skybound Insider. It's me, Ian.
And it's me, not Ian. I'm Brian. Today we're here to talk about him, Skottie Young.
Skottie is a crazy talented artist who has quite the friggin' resume, working on titles such as The Human Torch, Venom, Rocket Raccoon, Marvel's iteration of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Oh, look how sweet that looks. Even dabbling in children's books, working on the time travel breakfast cereal adventure, Fortunately, The Milk by Neil Gaiman. Mr. Young is also currently writing and drawing his own Image comic hit, I Hate Fairyland.
I, for one, can say that we love Skottie-land.
Hi guys, I am here with Skottie Young, who is writer and artist and all-around mastermind of all things comics. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to start really general.
Okay.
How did you foray into this world?
Of comics?
Of comics.
Like how did I get a job or how did I discover comics?
How did you discover comics first?
Mad Magazine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was a kid. I had a paper out when I was in elementary school. I was like literally like a classic 80s kid, you know, throwing papers at 4 in the morning. So I would use the money that I would get from that and go to the, I lived in a very small town. We had about 3,000 people in our town. So we had like one grocery store called Dave's, it wasn't even, and they had a magazine rack. So I'd buy, music magazines and I discovered Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
So I bought that and I liked to draw and there was drawings in that and I liked movies and they would spoof movies and it just was this perfect mecca of kind of pop culture and humor and cartooning. And so that was kind of what got me into reading sequential type things. It probably wasn't until Image started in the 90s that I jumped into superhero comics.
Oh, okay.
Again, I was from such a small town that there wasn't really access to, the big comics, X-Men and, all the Marvel and DC stuff. And it wasn't till, around junior high, or I think 90, 91 when Image started and I started seeing these comics with number ones on them. And I was like, oh, I understand that. I understand a starting point.
How that started.
Yeah, so I jumped in on all those early Image books and that changed everything for me. So it was, those were kind of my 3 stages of Mad Magazine, Archie, and Image were my kind of how I got into comics.
For I Hate Fairyland specifically, you are writing a woman in the body of a young girl.
Right.
I want to hear about representation and how you write characters that are different from yourself and how you tap into that.
I so wish that I could say something super romantic here and have like a really smart, thought out process, but I'm going to be super honest with you. I really view it as just a person.
Women are people?
Yeah,
Great answer.
That's it. That's it. I wish I could say I really think about having a niece and my, no, it's not that. It's, what, if anything, Gert is me.
Right.
It's me. The idea came around the time when we had our first kid. And, a couple years into being parents, our house is filled with television shows on repeat, television shows that are absolutely annoying, and your house and your floor is covered with toys that have these terrible digital songs.
Especially when you step on them.
Right,
yes.
Right? And then you don't even know, I didn't even touch that. Why is it going off? I can't find, So there's that. And then the dichotomy of my life is that my escape is to go to an office that's also got toys everywhere and also got cartoons on repeat, and I'm drawing cartoons. And so it's like this weird, I'm an adult, I think, but I'm also a child raising a child, and so these weird pushes and pulls of adulthood, and we're in a world where we're all adults who are in love with things that we were in love with when we were children, but there's
a weird retrieval of nostalgia cross culturally right now.
Right, and so that was really that was where the idea came from. So in a lot of ways, Gert isn't to me a gender. She's just a voice for childhood and adulthood. Which I think we all can relate to on some level, whether we have kids or we don't. Whether we're whatever gender we are, or any of that. I just think at some point it's more of my commentary on that. The only side of it that I do put to gender is the idea that getting rid of the kind of the little girl princess thing a little
Yeah.
bit, and
That
having
deconstruction is
yeah,
so important.
deconstructing that a little bit, and knowing that not every little girl needs to be kissed to be saved,
Right.
or needs the prince to ride up on a horse to save. In this world, you probably need to be saved
Mm-hmm.
from the little princess, right?
A lot of your books really play with genre
Mm-hmm.
within like the context of even more traditional works, and also stuff like I Hate Fairyland.
Sure.
How do you approach turning genre on its axis?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just a bit. It's just a lifetime of being a pop culture nerd, right? Like,
Yeah.
again, the age I am, I was kind of. It's been a cool. It's a cool generation to be a part of, because we've really been there for the start of so many things that we all love, right?
8-tracks and CD players.
Right.
And now iPods.
Right. So I mean, we
10 years
watched
ago, iPods.
VCRs and video stores come in. Like we watched that it wasn't a thing, and then video rental stores were a thing. So all of a sudden, everybody had access to watching Neverending Story 500 times, or making your parents rent Batman again. Or, it's like
Yeah.
so that happened. So then all of a sudden, I'm watching Beetlejuice 3 times a week, right? So genre becomes just my life, and so like for me, it's not. I don't know if I think about it in ways of like, how am I going to turn on its head? It's just like, I'm going to play with the toys that I love, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the way I view genre. It's like it's like a toy, and I just want to do my thing with it. So like in issues of I Hate Fairyland, where I think, I really like samurai stuff. I like to this week I'm really into samurai stuff and Lone Wolf and Cub, and I'm reading Lone Wolf and Cub. I'm like, I'll do a Lone Wolf and Cub spoof, or something like that. Or then like, oh, Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So like, I'll definitely do a play on that creepy genre of old men who want like young girls to come in and solve puzzles and marry them. You know?
That genre.
Yeah, which was a huge genre, and you're like,
yeah, for sure.
God, that's super creepy. And I have
You
a
put
character.
5 movies in there
Right,
easily.
easy. And that's why I was like, well, I have a book that has a little girl who's perfect to be called these dudes out. Be like, hey, creep, you're a creep,
I love that.
So really, it's just me going like, oh, I've spent all my life with these kind of movies and these kind of books and these kind of comics and things like that. So I just want to kind of throw my my flavor in that. And again, I grew up reading Mad Magazine, that's exactly what they did. They took
Oh, for
genre
sure.
and
Yeah.
narrative and movies, and they just poked fun at everything that they love, and that's really what my career is loving stuff and then making fun of it a lot.
If you liked what you saw, go watch the full interview on Skybound.com. That's our website. We've amassed quite a collection of wonderful conversations with great creators, so go on over to the site and watch those down. Also, don't be shy. Let us know who you want us to sit down with this year and interview. That way, if you have a question for them, tell us and we'll ask it.
Also, go pick up some of Skottie's books and make sure you check out the acclaimed I Hate Fairyland. Like and subscribe to the channel, chat it up with us in the comments, and we'll see you all next week.
Toodaloo.